Hello, I'm Chuck Perry, Superintendent of Broken Arrow Public Schools, and it's my honor and privilege to serve in my hometown. And I am blessed to stand on the shoulders of the innovative educators and community leaders who came before me. They could never have imagined how the decisions that were made years ago would affect the trajectory of our schools. But the foundation they built has served our district well since 1904. As you may have heard, we are asking voters to consider a bond election in November. This is our chance to build on the foundation we've inherited. It's our chance to secure the future of our students with an investment that will not raise taxes if approved. But before I ask you to cast your vote, I want to tell you exactly what's included in this bond package. It's more than I can cover in one short video, so my team and I have created a podcast series that will launch one episode at a time over the next few weeks. I hope you'll tune in and add your voice to the conversation happening in our community. And don't forget to get out and vote on November 14th. And always remember in Broken Arrow, the best is yet to come.
Hello and welcome to the Secure Our Future podcast series. I'm your host, Greg Spencer, and this week we've got three Broken Arrow High School seniors, JoJo David, Parker Wagner, and Ava Skipper. How you guys doing?
Good.
So we are here to talk about kind of the student perspective of this bond issue that we have coming up in November. But I want to kick things off with you guys kind of introducing yourself, and we'll go ladies first across me over here with Ava. Tell us a little bit about your story, how long you've been in Broken Arrow and all that.
I've been in Broken Arrow since I was in kindergarten. I've been here my whole life. I've loved it here the whole time. So this bond issue is really exciting for me to see how things have the potential to get even better than they already are. So yeah.
All right. JoJo, what about you?
My name is JoJo David. I'm a senior here, senior class president at the high school. And for me, my perspective has kind of changed in the past 2 years. Starting here as a sophomore, I wasn't really involved, didn't really like the school as much. But once that switch turned coming to my senior year, I was like, I want to really get involved. And I got all the opportunities. And now I really care about the school. And I want to see what this bond can do to benefit us. What
was it that kind of changed your mindset?
It was honestly meeting Wellborn, Christian Wellborn. She is the director of student life, and meeting her and her engaging into who I was and wanting to know more about me, and just her wanted to make a connection with me, wanted me to be hey, I want to do that too and make connections with people. So I ended up in that department, and once I did, got all the opportunities, and now I have a huge role in the leadership. So yeah.
Very cool, very cool. All right, Parker, what about you? You've got a unique story as well.
Yes.
You are not a Broken Arrow lifer, but
no, I moved here sophomore year from Florida. Yeah. And I realized pretty quick on that BA does everything big. It's a great district. And I'm just excited to see with this new bond issue how we can go even bigger.
And you are the STUCO president,
yes,
correct? And Ava, are you, and I know, what are you involved in?
I'm in STUCO. I'm an executive officer. I'm in pretty much not everything you can do on campus, but a lot of it.
Yeah.
I intern at an elementary school, so I also have a
Which
perspective at Rhodes Elementary.
Rhodes. Very
so
cool.
It's also cool to see how it might affect at the high school, but also how it affects at the younger ages as well.
Awesome. Well, Parker, I actually want to come back to you for a second. Dive in a little bit more into your story, because I know before you moved here from Florida, you guys essentially, you knew you were moving to the Tulsa area, correct? Mm-hmm. And you picked Broken Arrow because of what you saw, right?
Yes, it's actually funny. I'm on an AeroVision podcast, and I would attribute AeroVision a lot to the reason I'm here.
And I didn't ask you that question just to set us up for a pat on the back. But,
So, when you Google Broken Arrow High School on YouTube, there's cool videos. There's, Most Spirit in 2015, finalist again, and last year. And it's just really cool. And we're great. You just activate the students, and it's a great student body.
Well, and those for you watching or listening at home, I remember last year when we were talking and kind of having the plan for the America's Most Spirited High School contest video, you had brought something about a helicopter idea to me, and I was like, what is this kid talking about? And we didn't end up doing it, right? But you did it on your own, so props to you here recently getting a Black Hawk helicopter to land at Broken Arrow High School.
It was quite a day for our students.
Pretty crazy, but... All right, so I'll kick it back to JoJo here. JoJo, I want you to, in your own terms, kind of explain what is a bond issue, what does it mean to you, and what does it mean for the school district?
So from what I heard from Mr. Perry, this specific bond issue, there's 4 different parts. It's separated into 4 different parts. And each one of these parts, in totality, it's $52 million. And each one of these parts is to basically, in a sense, boost what we have at all of the whole district of Broken Arrow. So obviously transportation, safety is probably the biggest one. And I don't remember the other two, but there's specific things that they're going to be adding, like obviously a new pool for a lot of our like other sports and a lot of new things that are a part of this bond that are going to make us like so much more better and boost us. So
Yeah, and so for you guys that have been here for a long time, what year did you start going to Broken Arrow schools?
I have been going here all my life.
So like what year though? Can you remember?
Let's think. I think 2009.
Okay, so same
Yeah.
for you as well. Well, in that case, you guys, without probably knowing, have seen 2 bond issues pass in your lifetime, and that's what's responsible for some of the buildings that you see on campus here. Elementary schools like Rosewood, Timber Ridge, and some Centennial, not Centennial, but Oneida Ridge. Those are how we get those big, fancy new schools, and how Broken Arrow has grown over the years. So this bond issue in particular is kind of back to the basics, kind of getting things that we need in the district to kind of help keep us improving in technology, construction, maintenance, and so on. So that's kind of the difference. There's not as many big shiny buildings involved in this one, but it's a very important bond issue for the district. Ava, what about you? What are some thoughts you have on it from what you've heard from Mr. Perry?
So I think like one of the main things is just the safety, and especially the fence that would come, because we are an amazing campus, like the open campus. Most people, like, they just love it being that way. But it also brings in the threat of people just walking onto campus.
Yeah.
And so with the fence, if we have it, it would make it a whole lot safer without taking away from like how our campus functions. And you'd still be walking from building to building, whatever, but it'll just be a little bit more enclosed from people coming in. It's not to keep us inside, it's to keep other people out.
Yeah, which is, unfortunately, part of the times that we live in the world today, that, those are things that you have to be concerned about. And in a school this big, that you got to continue to look for ways to improve your security. Parker, what sticks out to you that you think is important?
I think the safety is really important too. And I think it's important that we don't get caught up in these big construction projects. I mean, they're beautiful and all, but making sure our students have a working air conditioner, that their Chromebooks are working, just all that kind of stuff's really important. Just that day to day.
Yeah, and that's a big change that you mentioned there with the Chromebooks and the technology piece. That's changed even in your guys' lifetime as a student, where now basically across the entire district, middle school, high school are all 1-to-1, right? But even in the elementaries, we're still technically 1-to-1. They just don't take it home every day.
Yeah.
So you got to keep refreshing those and keep the district growing. And then you also mentioned just making sure air conditioners work. When you take a look at a district of this size with over 30 schools, there's thousands of air conditioners on the roof that, and some of them are upwards of 20 years old. They have to be replaced, and that money just doesn't come easy. So that's a big part of this as well. So we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but, with all of you guys out of school, by the time these things kind of go into place, obviously you'll be here the rest of the year as it hopefully passes. But why is it important to you? We'll start with you, JoJo, and kind of go around again. Why is it important to you that this bond issue passes?
So for me, obviously society, it's changing in a sense, and there's obviously gonna be things that we just really can't like change, obviously weapons, all these things. So just keeping it safe is what matters. And for me personally, my connection is I have younger siblings that are a part of the Broken Arrow community. And the safety thing is obviously it's taking the most money, like the most important thing out of this whole bond. So for me, the connection that I have to this bond is in the sense of making sure that my family is safe. And I hope to stay in the Broken Arrow community when I'm older, because I just love this place so much, to where once I'm here, I know that I'm sending my kids somewhere where it's safe, where there's going to be safety. And that's like the number one concern. So that's for me.
All right, very good. Ava, what about you?
I think so, like, even though I necessarily, I won't be here anymore, like JoJo said, like, my family's still going to be here. And then also, like I said, I intern. And so these kindergartners I'm interning, I want them to be able to grow up in the best environment that they can. And so I think it would be something that we can really be proud of if it passes, a good legacy to leave. I think it's always important to be able to be prideful of what you do, and our district does the best. And so with this bond passing, I think it would just be even better to build it up.
Awesome. Great answer. Parker.
I agree with all those points. My mom actually works at the high school too. So knowing that she's safe and all that's really important. And I think just moving forward, knowing that my high school will, just be a safe place and nothing will happen, and that could hamper my, thoughts on it. So just making sure everything's good for my younger kids.
what kind of, you guys have obviously said some of these things already, but what are some things maybe that you haven't touched on already that you want voters to know about Broken Arrow schools and your particular experience? If you had to pick one thing, any of you can jump in there if you've got something.
Say that again.
Not everybody at once.
Wait, say that again real quick.
If you had to kind of pick one thing that you know, if somebody was going to ask you like, hey, what do you like about Broken Arrow schools?
Easy.
What would it be?
I don't know. I wasn't thinking. Obviously, the student activities, and like that whole area, the student union in itself, everything in there, the student activities, teachers, the staff, just everything in there. Once you get connected, because you can't go around any other school in Oklahoma. You can't go to Union or James, see all these things. I feel like Broken Arrow does an amazing job into pouring into their students. There's so many activities that we have that people don't even really know about. So I think that one cool thing that we have is we really care about our community of, like, you know, teenagers and all that. Like, it's our job to make them better, not even just in the learning aspect, but in the having fun aspect, in the getting leadership roles aspect. I think that we do a really good job with that. So that's one thing I kind of want to boast about.
All right, Ava, you got something to piggyback off that or something different?
So something that I really just love about this district is how much our employees and the teachers care about our students. I went to Rose and Sequoia, which are not the highest income schools growing up. And so a lot of the kids there, they don't have things at home that they're supported. They are coming to school sometimes for the meals themselves. Like, it's a little bit of a different environment. But being there and like watching the teachers, they pour into them so much. And that continues in every school in our district and the high school. And I think just the way that the teachers and the staff like love the students here is really special. And it just allows them to grow into opportunities that they would never have had before.
Very good. Very good. Great answer. Parker.
I think BA is really just a community. You know, we have something no one else has. And if we can just empower that, I think it'll be really nice.
Okay. All right. So you guys are going to be first-time voters this year. You know, coming up, you got presidential elections on the horizon and things like that. Talk a little bit about, you know, kind of what that means in general to you to kind of have this chance to vote, not only for what you're going to be able to, you know, actually by November, who here is going to be 18?
I will be.
Fun fact, I'm 18.
You won't be 18 yet?
18
So
in 5 days.
how are you going to try and influence your friends to make sure that more students get out and vote for this?
So one thing that I really like is obviously us being on this podcast, because in all honesty, when we were first asked to be on this podcast, I was like looking at the questions like, I don't know why they expect that us students really know this much about it. So it's really only a select few that know about it. So I'm hoping that stuff like this can actually show the other students what it is that we're doing and why is it we're doing it. Because if they hear what it is as a part of this bond, that's gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm voting for that. I don't see anything negative about it. It's all benefits. And I mean, the last bond that we had was 2015. That's the event center. The event center is here for that bond. So all these bonds are just to improve us. So just us getting it out there. And I really like how, you know, for me, it's like a step because I'm 18 soon. And just to be like, that's the first big vote is that I pour back into the community that poured into me. That's what I really like. So, yeah. All
right, Ava, what about you?
I think just in general, I think it's really important for the students here. Like, it's improving our district. It's something we can be proud of if it passes. I've been looking forward to voting since I was in like the 5th grade. And so I'm really excited. Like,
you were the ones that got real excited about like when you did the mock vote.
Yes. I've been looking forward to it. I've been involved with like my family just has really taught me about politics a lot. So I've been looking forward to voting for a very long time. And like JoJo said, this being the first vote I'm getting to vote in, it's very exciting for me. And I think communicating just with the people around you what it is really important, because I know some people are like, oh, it's just going to fence us in. Like, it's not not about that. The fence is an important part about it, but it's so multifaceted. And so I think just communicating with the people around you what it is, what it could give us as a district if it passes, is just the most important thing we could do.
Yeah.
Parker, obviously, like we said, you won't be able to vote on this, but what are some things that you guys can do to encourage your fellow students, whether it be utilizing social media and the platforms you guys have there?
I think it's important that we consider that, you know, a lot of presidential elections, bigger elections get more publicity. But when it comes down to it, for our students, something like a bond affects them more on the day-to-day. And just showing them that and, you know, walking them through it's good.
All right. So a couple more last questions here. And just to clarify, we're not telling people to vote yes, right? We're just telling people to go out and vote. But people should vote. Fill in the blank for me. We'll start with you, JoJo. People should vote on November 14th because
it brings us to the next generation of what's going on in society. I think it's just something that's bringing us at that level that we would want to be to get ahead of all the other schools with what we're doing. I mean, there's a lot of things I noticed Jeff Martin, he was talking, head of security, he was talking about it. A lot of the stuff that they have, like security cameras, all that stuff, it's soon to be outdated.
Yeah.
And just for them to get these new things already, it's just taking that next step into what it is that society is going to be soon, which is really tech heavy. So things like that.
I think we're already there.
Yeah.
We're pretty reliant on technology these days.
Already.
Ava, how about you?
I think people should vote in this election, but then specifically any of them, because it's like it's your civic duty. It's your voice is your vote. And so if you don't vote, it's like you're throwing away your say. And I think it's just really important that you don't do that in general.
Very good. Parker?
People should vote because, we are all tigers in a way. And if you're not going out there and showing that, you just not in the community, and you just got to be there and built in. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Broken Arrow. It's all people always talk about. We say it in the videos, and you hit. It's big, right? But you still try and maintain that small town feel that Broken Arrow was known for. And doing things like this and supporting your school district and the town when these kind of things come up are very important. To be involved. So, any final thoughts from you guys before we wrap it up?
I'll finish it off with a term that Mr. Perry likes to always say, because this bond is coming soon. The best is yet to come.
I think I knew where he was going with that. Yeah, I saw that coming from a mile away. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening or watching to this episode of Secure Our Future. If you've missed any of the other episodes, be sure and find them on YouTube. We've got a special playlist, and you can also make sure you're subscribing to the AirVision Podcast Network on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. Guys, appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for the
Thank you.
opportunity. Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Oh! Can we please get that for ours? You got students this time. You got to make it a little entertaining.
We'll do it there at the end. What's this? If you give a bad answer.